How is it going, fight fans? Joey G from Wrestling Headlines, and I am once again joined by a very special guest. He is a superstar with Impact Wrestling and a former X-Division champion. I am speaking today with the very talented, the very handsome Rohit Raju. Good morning, sir. Thank you very much for joining us today.
The jaw-jacking Tuesday night Impact, and his mother called him son because he shines like one. Mocha skinned manimal, the Desi Hit man himself, ravishing Rohit Raju, rocking his brand new t-shirt. You can go to shopimpact.com and get it. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing very well. I think that's really all we need. I mean, that's all the fans really want to hear is from the man himself, Mr. Energy, Mr. Charisma. You know, I, sir, have been following your work for some time. And when I look at your career trajectory, it has only been trending upwards. You know, you started working these independent circuits years ago, including like XICW, some NWA affiliates. You worked your way through Ring of Honor, and you finally landed yourself in a key spot with Impact, where you have made quite an impact, dare I say. Has your particular journey going through all of that with the support that you had, has there been any valuable life lessons or any advice you wish to share on that journey?
Keep hustling, man. Keep hustling. I used to work all the time, like, you know, trying to balance professional wrestling and real life, just trying to be a professional wrestler. And there's so many people that said, it's not going to work. It's a pipe dream. You know, how many people try to do this, and you know, just a lot of negativity. I knew what I wanted. I knew my potential, you know, and when I first got the look from Ring of Honor and they started using me for little things here and there, I was like, well, if they're using me, I must be doing something right. If they're telling me all this good information, and these are some of the best wrestlers in the world, I must be doing something right. And that kind of fizzled out. And I really didn't know where I was going to go from there. And then I had the opportunity with Impact. I said, well, I'm definitely not going to let this down. I kept pushing. And every opportunity I had, and to get my foot in the door with Impact, I kept taking advantage of it. And then boom, I finally got signed. I was at the bottom. I worked my way up. Now I'm a former X-Division champion. Hopefully I'll be a two-time X-Division champion. Hopefully be a world champion someday. But the thing is, it doesn't stop. I mean, you can be at the bottom and it looks like you're going to be staying there. You got to keep fighting. You got to keep hustling. You got to keep grinding. As long as you know what you want and you know your worth and you know that you're good at what you're doing, you know, sky's the limit. You honestly just have to keep pushing for it.
Keep pushing for it, man. And it truly has been inspiring to watch yourself work your way all the way up. It really, really is a great story. And I look forward to the day where they announce you, Rohit, as the new Impact World Heavyweight Champion. I know many fans will be happy about that. Now, speaking of your time at Impact, you know, I, working in the past in the wrestling media, have gotten the luxury and opportunity to attend several Impact tapings all over the U.S., in Chicago, in California, in Las Vegas. Every time I went to an Impact show, dating back years ago, every time the Desi Hit Squad came out, there always was a huge reaction, whether it be boos, whether it be cheers. This group was very, very popular with the people, with the Impact fan base. What do you think the legacy of the Desi Hit Squad will be when we talk about this faction, you know, years down the line?
Well, that was definitely boos. I don't remember any cheers at all. So it was definitely, we got booed out of the building, whether it was because people didn't want to see us or whether because they hated us, legit heat. You know, I don't think the legacy of the Hit Squad, I don't think it's a good one. And this is why, and I want to be negative, but we didn't do anything. We didn't do anything. There was nothing special that we were doing. There was a lot of momentum and then stop, changing of roster members. This person gets hurt, this, that, and the other. Now it'll be a little bit different to where I made a name for myself. Shira by himself right now can make a name for himself. Whenever Raj comes back, maybe he can make a name for himself. And then in the future, when we've all made names for ourselves, then we form like Voltron. Then we bring it back, because we're not those guys that were at the bottom anymore. Now we're somebodies. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't wait to get out on my own, to be my own person, not to be just another face in a group. Now I believe that I did that. Shira on his own, the guy's a monster. You know what I mean? I think he can do that. He's training at OVW every single Tuesday. He's getting in the ring. He's getting better. Shira's going to be able to do that. And then whatever happens with Raj is if Raj can capitalize on that same momentum, he'll be able to do that. And then we'll be 3 individuals coming together, hopefully with Gamma, and then it'll be something. Then we can actually do something, because then we'll be players in Impact instead of just guys that are getting beat up every single week, and you know what they're going to do, and you know they're not going to be doing anything special. You know that they will. So that's, as far as the legacy before, I don't really hang my hat on that, because I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy with what happened. That's not what I want my legacy to be. My legacy, I want it to be success. And the Hit Squad was not success. I think it can be, but that will have to happen in the future.
I hear you, man. And I'm happy you kind of pretty much answered the second part of the question I was going to follow up with, is that you guys have found individual success. And I think it's only going to strengthen your possibility of coming back together if that is something that happens. And as your success, as we've already previously mentioned, you were able to snag a very, very prestigious title in the pro wrestling lore, the X-Division title. I recall you saying in a previous interview that you were a big fan of the 1990s cruiserweights in WCW, comparing it then to the growing X-Division faction in like the division in like 2007 with Chris Sabin, those early guys getting themselves going. Let's go right first with the cruiserweights. Do you remember any particular matchups or any marquee performers during that time in the 90s WCW?
Yes. I mean, the best match, one of my favorite matches of all time was, I think it was Halloween Havoc 97, Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero. When Rey came out in the Phantom gear, and I think it was mask versus title. That match was, to this day, I mean, Rey broke out that springboard backflip DDT, and he hit it flawlessly. But not only, to me, that's what professional wrestling, it exuded what's best about professional wrestling. It had a great story. It had drama. The in-ring work was phenomenal. You know what I mean? And then it built it from beginning to end. You were on a roller coaster ride. You didn't know what was going to happen. You didn't know how it was going to end, but you couldn't wait. But you also didn't want to get off the ride. That was professional wrestling in a nutshell. Sometimes you have matches where they're just fireworks. It's just stuff happening for no reason. And it's just like, okay. And, to your generic fan, they'll applaud and chant fight forever and all that nonsense. Cool. And then sometimes you'll have 2 guys out there that are just going through the motions, trying to tell a story. And there's a story, but the in-ring work is just kind of here it's hit or miss. This had everything. It had larger than life characters, it had people that knew who they were, it had people that great professional wrestlers that knew the story they were telling, and they told it, better than anybody else could. To me, that is like professional wrestling in a nutshell. And that was the best of the 90s cruiserweights. I loved watching Juventud. I loved Dean Malenko and Mysterio matches. I loved Eddie. I loved Y2J, baby. I loved when the Lionheart became the Coward, and he was such a great, you really you start to see who Chris Jericho could be. Love that stuff, man. Absolutely love it. 90s cruiserweights, very underrated for today's wrestling fans that don't know anything about it.
And
they have no idea where today's stuff comes from. It comes from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But one thing that I think you also said in a previous interview, and that I've even seen you implement in your in-ring style, is the blending of styles. Like, the lucha libre style with the Mexican style, with the American cruiserweight style. I thought it was such a fun, exciting time, especially growing up being a WCW fanatic myself. It was such a great time. And then we get the X Division, mid 2000s. We get these early runs with guys like AJ Styles, Chris Sabin, Samoa Joe comes in later and becomes a beast in that division. And now you, sir, are a part of that legacy. And having gotten to talk to some of the more modern X Division champions like Chris Bay, Ace Austin, and now you, sir, I believe you are another crowning achievement in that lore of that title's history. Who would you say would probably be, besides yourself, obviously, one of the embodiments of the X Division?
As far as nowadays, Or do you nowadays, or just in general?
In general, whoever comes to your mind. I mean, you could even break it apart between like the early days of the X division and like how it's been perceived the last 5 years. I guess mainly just because now you have submitted yourself into a long legacy of some of the most popular guys in the industry today. What when you think X division, who do you think of?
I think AJ Styles right off the bat. I
Mm.
think AJ, when I first started watching TNA Impact, he was the guy. I didn't know who he was. You know what I mean? He was just, I was like, who is this dude? And he was honestly phenomenal. The
Mm.
stuff he was doing, and then watching him grow into who he is today as a fan, it's awesome. It's awesome to see that. I loved Petey Williams' run as X Division. I loved
Mm.
watching Chris Sabin. I loved Low Key. I love the stuff between Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe, and AJ. As far as today goes, TJ brings a whole different level of experience to the X division. I think a lot of people don't realize that the guy's been wrestling for 22 years. He's been absolutely everywhere. He's been a huge mentor to me backstage. I've learned so much. My confidence level has improved so much just from being in the ring with him and talking with him and listening to his philosophy of professional wrestling. He's been a huge impact on my life as far as my career. I love the fact that Chris Bay, he's this young up and comer. He's so over. People love him. He has his own style. He has his own swag. I love to see that. Ace Austin, he's back on top, king of the mountain. You know what I mean? Two-time X-Division champion. You put Fulton with him, that adds a whole different dynamic. Then you mix Josh Alexander in there, who I think is the future of the company right there. I think the guy can be world champion tomorrow if they wanted it. I think he can go in the ring with absolutely anybody. So I think the X-Division is fine. I like to, when you were talking about my style, I want to be different. My
Mm.
style, I guess, isn't as over as what people want to see in professional wrestling. They want to see the fireworks. They want to see the bum, 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 bum. I like that. I really do. But I also like the showmanship. I also like the Shakespeare. I also like the character work. That's what draws me to professional wrestling. So one of my favorite matches was the match. I think it was, I would forget the name of it, but it was my last match with TJP. I
Mm.
thought that story that we told, it was the accumulation of so many things. It started off as both of us just kind of being jovial and jokey and wisecracky. And then it came down to being serious. First thing I do is attack him right off the bat. And
Mm.
we're just going at it. There's no mask. There's no nothing. There's no smoke. It's just us trying to win and be the better person. And I hope, sooner or later I can touch base with that. But I'm hoping people can see that I can do whatever you need me to do in the ring. You want me to go out there and do the catch as catch can? Cool. I can do that too. But I also love to be able to tell the story more than anything. Again, going back to the stuff that I enjoy.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, as someone that watched that particular matchup and then someone that has been following your work, I think you have transitioned into a fantastic storyteller. I think that mentor relationship that you kind of had with TJB kind of even bled out and showed in that matchup. So I truly do look forward to the work that you continue to do with Impact and that you will do in the world of professional wrestling. I only got a couple more questions for you, and I thank you again for joining me, Joey G, with Wrestling Headlines. Big news coming out of Impact now is that they are going to be moving to Thursday nights. Do you have, is there any immediate reaction from you now that Impact is going to be hosted on a different night?
No, I just hope people turn in. People tune in. That's all I hope. I hope people continue to. I hope it doesn't conflict with anybody's scheduling. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Well, I can't watch it because of this. But there's so many different ways to watch it nowadays. Whether it's Twitch, Access TV. If you have a DVR, you can record it. I'm excited. It's a new move. You know what I'm saying? It's just evolving and keeping the product fresh. So hopefully people will just jump on in and we'll get new eyes and new viewers as well.
I
And now I
think
just have to change up my thing instead of do Tuesday night, Impact, and it's Thursday night Impact again. So there we go.
And I have faith that the Impact faithfuls will continue to tune in, especially now on a Thursday night, a different night, separate from other promotions. They'll have their own time, their own set mindset to sit down and put Impact on their TVs. Last question. I know you've already kind of talked about this in the past, but I would love to hear it in your own words once again. It was really, really awesome watching your run as Impact X-Division champion. And it was really awesome that you really got to embrace your, ethnical background in that, and that Impact allowed for you to do that. now having time to reflect on that run, do you still, how do you think your first reign as champion went? How do you feel you were able to represent your ethnical background? And are you excited to do it, to continue showcasing who you are for the sport?
I think it was an eye opener for a lot of people. I knew what I could do. One of the things why my run was successful was because I was already ready to do that for the company. I was already ready to be in that position. I wanted to be in that position. I wanted that smoke. I wanted that pressure. So me being able to cut the promos, go out there and have these matches, that's what I wanted. So I was in my comfort zone. I was ready to show them and everybody else that I deserve to be able to have a seat at the big table. I loved it. I thought it, like I said, I thought I proved a lot of people wrong. I thought I opened a lot of eyes and showed the world that I can be a player, and I am a player at Impact Wrestling, especially on the mic. There's not anybody, and I'm going to say it, there's not anybody on the roster that's touching me on that microphone. And I think in the world of professional wrestling, there's not too many people that are touching me on that microphone. Does the rest of the world see that? No, I still think there's a lot of people sleeping on me, and they'll continue to sleep on me until there's a huge wake-up call. But being able to represent India is really cool. Being able to represent India as me is even better, not being like a stereotype or anything of that nature, because you see that a lot in wrestling. Impact has always kind of let me do my thing, which has been really cool. And being able to be me, but also represent an entire country is really, really cool. Especially being able to share the ring with someone like Shira, who's super over in India, that's fantastic. That means it's just more eyes on us. And to be honest, man, it doesn't stop. I'm hungrier now than ever because I had a taste of the top. I had a taste of championship, and now I want it again. I crave it. I need it. So what do I have to do? I have to continue to reinvent myself. I have to continue to go out there and cut these great promos and cut better promos and put on better matches and make sure I'm reliable no matter who they put me in the ring with, whether it's a Fala, whether it's a James Storm or back with a TJ, whatever I'm in the ring with, I'm putting in good work and they see that. And I continue to do so, but I want to continue to move up to the card. I don't want to be here stuck at the X division. I want tag titles. I want a world title. I want to be the guy in Impact Wrestling. That's what I want. And that's what I'm going to continue to work for.
And I believe it's going to happen. So please continue to be you, because you being you, Rohit, has what's gotten you to in the game and the player that you have been. And every other pro wrestler in the world should be afraid when they put a microphone in your hands, because who knows what the charismatic man is going to say next. Thank you again so very, very much for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Is there anything else besides that gorgeous t-shirt that you would like to plug?
Of course, you can catch me on Twitter at Hakeem Zain, Raju Zain 80 on Instagram. If you go to Facebook and look up Rohit Raju, you will find me. I will be talking about my wrestling school that it just opened back up, Dragon's Lair Pro Wrestling Academy in Bay City, Michigan. A lot of people have been stopping through there, getting a lot of new students. I honestly love professional wrestling, but something I love to do even more is passing on what I know and watching people improve. So if you're in that area, you're a professional wrestler, you want to come and you want to roll around, awesome. If you want to make your dreams a reality, come see me.
The only man who could make a dream a reality is you, sir. You have been an absolute treat, and I really, really look forward to watching you continue to climb the ranks in one of the best wrestling promotions in the world, Impact. So thank you very much. God bless and have a good day.
Thanks, you too, man.